Since Kinsey and I got married, she's forced me to watch one entire season of The Bachelorette.
That's not entire picture.
And a portion of highlights from The Bachelor on occasion, okay? And what's really interesting about this whole sitcom, or this whole drama, is the rose thing, right? So in every episode, for those of you who don't know how this works, the Bachelor, at the end of each show and at the end of each date, he's got a rose that he will deliver to the woman or the women that he wants to keep around and continue dating a little bit longer. And the question lingering in the air as you watch each episode is, will he give her the rose or won't? If he gives her the rose, she has to stick around and continue dating a little bit longer. But if he doesn't give it to her, then she's got to pack her bags and head home. And while the show is certainly overly dramatized and completely ridiculous at times, like probably 1 out of 3 dates involves a helicopter. And like in our 4 years of dating, I'm sorry to say that I've never taken Kinsey on a helicopter date. My bad, sweetheart. So while the whole thing is ridiculous, there's a hint of truth in the rose thing. The reality is that most of us spend our lives hoping for the rose. This is largely how dating works, right? We put up our best front, we look our best, we act our best, we dress ourselves up, we put on a good show, and we try to impress the other person. And we hope that we can impress the other person to the point where they will accept us, where they'll receive us. We believe that if we can get the rose, if we can put on a good show to get the rose from that person, then our lives will be better. Then our deepest longings will be satisfied. And this is what you hear on the show all the time. I want to meet that special someone. I'm ready to fall in love. I'm ready to find that person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And wrapped up in those statements is this expression of hope and the assumption that if you meet Mr. Right, all the deepest longings of your soul will finally be satisfied.
So this is what the roses in relationships promise: hope, love, and a future of joy. But what happens? Well, if you've seen the show, for all but one woman, there are no roses. And the promise is disappointing. You can see disappointment written all over these women's faces, really, just watching episodes. I know this is seriously dramatized because it's television, right? But the truth is that most of us don't get the rose. And even if we do get the rose, life isn't been all roses all the time. It's not always what it's cracked up to be, right? So the dating game makes all these promises, but at the end of the day, it doesn't deliver. So it begs the question, is there a better way? Is there another way to approach dating and relationships? Well, we believe that there is, and we're going to look for that answer in the Bible. So the truth is, the Bible offers us, 1, a big picture story, and 2, some powerful principles that we can apply to dating. And I know a lot of you are thinking, the Bible doesn't talk specifically about dating. You're right. Even though it doesn't mention the word dating, we can still glean a lot from the Bible about how to date. It talks a lot about God and his relationship with us and our relationships with others. It talks a lot about marriage. And all these are good principles that will set us up for great Christian dating.
So we'll start with the big picture story. Because if you don't get the big picture story, then the principles don't matter. And the Bible, the storyline of the Bible is not just a collection of disjointed narratives. It's one overarching story. And that big picture story essentially goes like this. God made it, we broke it, and Jesus fixes it. God made it, we broke it, and Jesus fixes it.
I'm supposed to say this too. I didn't want to share. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can write down.
Yeah. As we go, if you have questions through this whole series over the next month, any questions you have, anything that's on your mind, we're going to have a panel at the end of the month, and we'll answer a lot of those questions. So write them down, drop them off in the box here when you leave, or you can text them to the number that's on the blackboard here during the talk tonight, or any of the next 3 weeks, and we'll answer those questions now. Okay, so basically, God made it, we broke it, Jesus fixed it. Here's how that applies to dating and relationships. First, God made it. This is the way it was supposed to be. So God is the creator of all things. And as the creator, he knows best how things are designed to function, right? In the beginning, God created the world good. The Hebrew word for this is shalom. And shalom means peace. But not just peace in the sense of absence of conflict, but peace meaning wholeness, completion. That everything is as it ought to be. It's all good in the hood. And God created mankind in perfect relationship with him and perfect relationship with each other. So in the garden, you have Adam and God kicking it in this face-to-face, father-son, intimate, personal relationship. Right? And when Eve is created, she too enters into the goodness of that relationship with God and relationship with people. Genesis 2:25, which is one of my favorite verses in the entirety of the Bible, says, "And the man and his wife were naked, and they were not ashamed." Right? And so it's this, they're fully known, they're fully revealed. At the same time, they're fully accepted. There's nothing to hide. There's no shame. There's no disconnect. There's no separation between God and people, between anything. Shalom reigns. And that was how it was supposed to be. So God made it, and God made it good.
But we broke it. Things are not as they're supposed to be. We already talked about this. The whole dating thing just doesn't work. It's unsatisfying and harmful. It leaves us broken. And the reason is because the world around us is broken. While God created the world with and for shalom, this is not the way the world is today. Any honest observation of the world around us has to draw this conclusion, right? I mean, the world is a pretty jacked up place. I mean, if you think about even just all the jacked up relationships, it's a jacked up place, let alone everything else. So there's no longer shalom. So what happened? Well, then in Genesis 3, Adam and Eve rebel against God. Essentially, they set their mind on something above God, desiring the forbidden fruit above the creator of the fruit. They want God's stuff without God. So idolatry is this fancy word that we don't really use that often these days, but idolatry means simply seeking to find in creation that which only the creator can provide. Let me say that again. Idolatry is simply seeking to find in creation what only the creator can provide. It is looking to anything but God to meet your deepest needs. It's having a bigger view of the thing that you want than of God. It's centering and orienting your life around anything other than God. Idolatry is really seeking the rose from anyone or anything other than God. This was Adam and Eve's root problem in the garden, and really it's our fundamental problem of the world today.
And this idolatry manifests itself in three primary ways. Emotional, physical, and social idolatry. So, emotional idolatry. Here, we're looking for emotional salvation. We date to find someone to save us from our fears, from our past hurts, from our anxieties about the future. We're looking for someone to rescue us from what we feel. Perhaps it's inadequacy, or loneliness, or pain. We think, if only I can find Mr. and Mrs. Right, then my life will be good. That's emotional idolatry. Physical idolatry. Here, we're looking for physical salvation. Some of us chase pleasure. We love our bodies, and we want to enjoy our bodies. We want others to enjoy our bodies with us. Some of us chase escape. We hate our bodies, and we want someone to validate us by taking pleasure in our body. And some of us just don't care about our bodies. We just want to enjoy somebody else's body. And in each of these cases, ultimately what we're doing is we're using each other physically as we chase physical salvation. This is physical idolatry. Social idolatry. Here, we date to find social salvation in the other. We want acceptance and approval from our social circle. And we just know that if we bring the right guy or the right girl into that circle, we'll get the acceptance and approval that we so desperately want. This is huge in the athletic community. We want our teammates to think of us as the guy who's got game off the field. We want people to know that we date that guy, or we sleep with that girl. Another way social idolatry works is when we date just because our culture says we should. There's this cultural norm that says, unless you're in a relationship, you're a nobody. But this is social idolatry. And these types of idolatry are all ways in which we have broken the good gift that God has given us in relationships. The tragedy here is that while we turn to these things looking for salvation, for freedom, in the end, all we find is slavery.